Hey, it's Baba, and I'm here to play some Minecraft with you. I have made some pretty significant changes since the last episode regarding this village. In between episodes, you'll see that I did a little time-lapse video where I finished up the town hall, and we're going to go over that shortly. And then I also spent some time working on the docks. There have been changes, little spoiler there, nope. So I'm going to show you the time-lapse of me building those docks as well, but first, let's head over to the town hall and take a look and see what has changed. Welcome to Twin Bell Town. There's the town hall in her final glory, or final enough. Let's take a look and see what has all changed. First thing you might notice is that the docks have been completely reshaped, redesigned. No longer the two piers, instead one large pier here and one over this way as well. That gives just so much more room for there to be a ship here. But we will move on to that aspect a little bit later on. On the balcony here, you'll see that no longer is there a path leading up to where the mayor's house will be. In fact, this whole area has changed a whole lot, just got some shaping and planning in. I've closed off this section here. It's no longer got an opening there. The textures just didn't match well to try to have any kind of gate or opening that way, so I said forget it. We'll leave this area enclosed. It also leads up to the bell tower at the top here, and since it's too wide, I couldn't just have one bell. It had to be something that worked with two of them, and the bell just made sense to me, so therefore, Twin Bell Town. Yeah, that's corny. Oh well. Let's go around this side first. You can see that there's also been interior work completed. We'll take a look at that after we finish looking at the outside, though. I have worked on this area a whole lot. This has changed significantly. Now we have a little courtyard area with some seating. What do you think? I don't know if he likes it. He seems a little stuck. You okay there, bud? Be free. Maybe he loves it so much that's why he's just staying there. I don't know what's wrong with him. So I have worked on this fountain and all of the different pathways leading up to the main entrance of the town hall, splitting off into both sides. Quite fitting to have two entrances, right? Maybe. I also decided a little bit where we're gonna take the rest of this town from here. This is sort of going to branch off in three different sections here. This way, leading over to the shops. This way, leading up to the houses. This way here, and out to the desert outside of town. And this way, I think is just going to be natural. We're just going to build up some more green space here and just work on the landscaping for this area here. I don't know, originally I had houses planned for like right about here and here, but they are just far too close to the town hall itself, so I scrapped that and just went to put in some trees, and I'll put in more nature and things out this way. I think the greenery really helps balance out all of the sand colors. That's one thing that I did notice here, is that there's still not a whole lot of definition in the path, the steps going up to the entrance. I tried a few things like incorporating the quartz, but I just couldn't find anything that really fit well. So for now, I'm going to leave it like this. I think having the break up with the greenery throughout here probably will be the biggest thing that helps. Maybe I can do a couple more planters up this way as well. We'll see. I did make some custom trees. These is kind of my first attempt at trying some custom made trees. Especially nothing like a palm tree before. I've never done anything like this before. I've seen a lot of people do it. I think there's a couple angles that still don't look so great, but I mean in general it's simple, and I think it works. I mean, I think looking at it as a whole, it definitely sort of completes this area here. Before we move around to that side, I actually want us to pop inside. Take a look at what happened in here first. Big changes. Quite different since the last time we looked in here, except for this seating area. Apart from the texture change, it has remained much the same. This, however, is all different. I went back to my original idea of breaking it up into 2 spaces. This would be your area to come in and wait to see if you can get a chance to speak with the mayor. Though it seems unlikely that he's willing to see you, since I no longer have sort of the security guard kind of feature I was planning on having with probably some iron golems. Well, next best thing is some iron gates here. Nobody's getting in. Nobody's getting in to see him. Now, obviously, these can't really be opened in Minecraft, but maybe we can use our imagination and pretend that they could be opened if so inclined. But yeah, I have a feeling he probably doesn't open it very often. So, how do you get over to that side? That is the big question, and the only accessible way is if you're the mayor yourself. That's fitting, right? Actually, let's go around this way. Back over at the mayor's to-be house, you'll see that the entrance now is only through this back area here. This incorporates where we have our hidden entrance that leads right down to the shops down there. And this is the way that the mayor gets into his office. You'll see that the chair has changed, but the gold has remained. Just subtle enough that, they wouldn't notice it, but he'd know. He'd know it's here. Yeah, little details in here. Nothing too fantastic, but just enough to make it feel like a nice, comfortable office space for him. Place for someone to come and sit down and meet with him, though probably doesn't happen very often. The best part, of course, is that mayoral view of the docks. Obviously, it'll look much better once there's actually a ship down there. But, yeah, I mean, look at the sunset. And speaking of which, we're about to get nightly visitors. So let's head over to our lonely bed. Ah, much better. And you'll see that this side has also changed quite a bit. Now we've got grass going on in here. We've got this walkway leading down to the water, where we could probably envision at least a little personal craft for the mayor himself. I think that the waterway here needs to get expanded a little bit. It's feeling a little crowded in this area, so I think I'll push the bank back just a tiny bit on this side here. And there's definitely room for more improvement over here. I think I'll work on that once I actually build the house, but you'll see that I've built a water feature out of gold, because of course he would have a gold water fountain in his yard. And that leads to some roof details, and you'll see that there's a couple of things going on up here. This, I really worked on it a lot, and, I'm okay with how this part came out. It's interesting. I'm not crazy about it, but I don't know. Maybe it's kind of gaudy and weird, and that's how I picture the mayor, so that's how I kind of designed this section here. And this part is one of my favorite little sort of happy accidental, creations. I ended up changing this fountain so very much that I found that it helped if I kind of sunk the whole water source back into this area to flow down, and it kept the line nice and clean. Well, that meant that I needed to cut a hole here, and just the shape of it just created such a nice little pattern, especially when looking at this whole thing. It's very, I don't know, it's just very satisfying to look at. I don't know, I'm very happy. I think everything in general came out pretty good, all things considered. Just for playing around and not really having a plan in mind, just kind of going with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think now it's time we move on to what I've been talking about for a while, which is the docks. Figuring out what we're going to place down here. Now, I did try, after I finished working on this, while I still had the 2 piers, I did try adding a small ship in this area here, but it just ended up completely blocking off the view into, the buildings. It just was too distracting. Everything felt really cramped. So I said, okay, we're going to restructure this, redesign this. I don't know. I feel like this gives us much more room to play with now. Now, the question is what are we gonna design this ship like? I guess what I'm really picturing is something that has lots of cargo on it, maybe starting to be unloaded, and you can see that there's all these treasure chests and all sorts of interesting little things on it that maybe you go right onto the ship and do your trading. I don't know. I kind of have a vague picture in my mind, and I guess we just don't know until we start to do it. So let's. I'm gonna start to do it. I'm gonna record it as a time lapse though, because I have a feeling I'm gonna make and remake and change a lot, because that's what happened to the town hall itself. So let's just jump right into it and see what we can create. there we have it. We have in our trading ship, finally. I'm super happy with how this came out. I gotta say, I tried building this thing at least 3 times, trying all sorts of different materials, and I was really determined to not use spruce and oak, and I ended up using that. The reason is all the docks and all of the covers over the shops and stuff, those are the main wood colors that I'm using. However, oak is the prominent one. Spruce is kind of secondary. But every other type of material I tried to use, it stuck out too much. You gotta be careful getting too far away from the established colors before it just starts to feel, I don't know, it stood out way too much. Even when I tried using, like, quartz, that design didn't come out too badly, but it just didn't, I don't know, it felt like a modern boat then. Whereas this is really what I was picturing, is more of like a barge type, very open. Clearly people can, walk in and out of it. I think that this is fitting and really matches more what I was picturing. There's just no good way to detail, some place to steer on a ship. I've seen this used before from some people. I don't know. If I think of something better, I'll swap that out. There's just nothing. What's circular in this game? Absolutely nothing. I did kind of like the look of like an oak trapdoor. Let me put one of those on there. Is it an oak trapdoor? Yeah. It's sort of like if we did not with that, but like that. Like, I don't know. That to me has like kind of the right lines of like a steering wheel. Just gotta pretend it was curved. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know really what I like better. Definitely not with the wall. That shouldn't stay. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this whole thing came out. It was really fun to build. Once I finally got a style and a look that I was happy with, then things just started coming together. I don't know a whole lot about ships, so I mean, probably having a steering wheel right up front is probably really wrong. But I just didn't have room because, the aesthetics came first here. I knew I wanted to have a little cargo hold back here, and I knew I wanted to have the sheets over the top kind of covering it, so I don't know. It's fine. Now, you may notice this little detail trick, I totally cannot take credit for. I saw Grian from Hermitcraft do that. There is a pig. You will occasionally hear him squeal down there, holding onto the rope. Poor thing. I will go down and visit him. There he goes. he just oinked a little. We'll visit him from time to time, okay? He's serving a noble cause. But yeah, I thought that was the coolest little design trick to add such a perfect little detail for something tied up to the docks. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I still get my beautiful view of the town hall from here. Like, the most important thing. Although the ship's in it now, it adds to it. Well, at least that's what I'm going to say it does. Anyway, yeah, I feel like this little section of town is almost completed. There's clearly some open space right here that, I don't know, we'll have to figure out some ways to incorporate a little more life into this open space here. Maybe with some more seating or, I don't know, just a little more details. But what I really wanted to spend a little bit of time doing was figuring out some of the paths. I've talked a whole lot about where we're going to have some of these houses and the other shops sort of aligned to, and I think I kind of want to just start placing in some actual steps. I don't want to just use sandstone. There's sandstone absolutely everywhere here, and it's such a battle to overcome that. So I think after looking at like every block available in the game, I think I just want to use path blocks. That feels so I don't know, feels so lame. But just looking at like the colors and the tone that the grass gets in the desert, I think it just makes the most sense. I think it'll look the nicest. But I don't know. We'll start placing in some of the paths going up this way. It's gonna be a trick figuring out what do I want to do going up. I didn't really consider that because I don't really want. Yeah, I don't want it doing that, and I don't really want it showing grass. Let's let's experiment a little. Or I don't want it showing the dirt, I mean, rather. It probably wouldn't look good if I did something like this. Yeah, that's, I have to be very conscious of what's underneath it. It should probably be something like sand. Oh, that just is ugly seeing the dirt like that, though. Well, does it look bad if, like, they have to have, like, defined steps there? Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. If that's like that. And then it goes back into being path blocks. Up like that. Actually, I feel like that could kind of work. You know what? We're not going to get a good look at it in the dark, though. Let's have another sleep real quick. Yeah, so just looking at it from this angle here, I think I like that just fine. I think it's nice to incorporate a little bit more of the smooth sandstone. Let's see what it looks like when we actually add in some grass along the sides, because I think, to me, that's going to be important. Just adding in some... Oh, I'm not going to break trapdoors. Good. Incorporating some of those colors should help this become more alive. Oh, then we will see. See, I know there's something you can do to make it so that the grass, like, comes around and goes over the edge here. I don't have that. See, this is me thinking through, huh? If I start replacing this with grass. It didn't bother me so much over there on the mayor side. Okay, so maybe I don't know, now that I back away. I'm getting distracted all over the place. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah. To you. What are you doing here? You guys want to check out my new path? See if you like it? Let's see. What do you think? Is it weird having the dirt showing? Is it okay? Huh. He's going to check it out. What do you think? Is it bad or does it look okay? You guys are so unresponsive. I don't know. I mean, if anything, you guys just look a little menacing, okay? You're not really helping me out here, please. Alright, have fun raiding the town. There's nobody in there. I guess maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I mean, the tone's... I don't know. Maybe I'll just start placing in some more and... I don't know. Maybe I don't hate it as much once I start looking at it. I don't care for that, though. Well, obviously, that grass will die down there. Maybe it'll be fine. I'm one of those classic overthinkers, which is probably not great for somebody that likes playing Minecraft, because that's probably why I create and then destroy so many things that I'm making all the time. It takes a long time for me to actually get one of these videos done into a place that I like it. I don't know. I spend a lot of time second guessing and changing my mind. But I guess that's fun, and it's all the more satisfying once you actually get it figured out the way you want it to. I do kind of want the path to be a little torn up, but probably not right here. I would expect this to maybe be a little more solid, because a lot of people would be walking through this area, whereas the path would probably get more broken up in the less traveled areas. So maybe there's like a... I don't know. It's all about experimenting. One of the benefits to playing this in creative mode, I'm not stuck with dealing with, gathering all these resources and then come to find out I don't actually like the way that, what I was trying out didn't work, and I waste all this time gathering all this stuff. Though, it just feels so much more satisfying building things in creative, especially like big mega builds. You just really can't beat that feeling of working hard to gather the materials and take the time to design and build it all up. I don't know. There's just something very satisfying and fun about doing that. I just wish I had the time to be able to do that. But like I said in my first video, I do work a regular job. This is just for fun stuff. I do have to make real money. And playing on survival, although I think more people enjoy watching that. I get it because it's more challenging. I just there's no way I'd have the time. I would spend probably like a week or two just gather. You gotta spend hours to gather up resources, and yeah, that wouldn't be very fun. I'd make one video, and it would be so many hours worth of work and nothing to show for it. I couldn't do that. So yeah, just doing some relaxing building. And I really, really like the concept of just having like some like nice music playing while building. That's what I like to do, is just listen to, I don't know, whatever kind of music I'm in the mood for. I go through phases like we all do. And just building. It's kind of mindless. It's very relaxing and so satisfying, especially when you like finally create something like the way you were like picturing it in your mind. It can be so satisfying. And at the same time, it can be super dissatisfying when you're struggling forever trying to figure out, how you want something to look. And you're dealing with, squares and cubes. It's so much more challenging than working with traditional art mediums. And I will legitimately call this an art medium. Let's see how this looks. Cool. I don't know. I like that. Let's start adding in some grass. But I gotta respect the sand, because I do also like the sand in there. But I do also want to get into the greenery. We'll see. I'll go light on the greenery to start. But yeah, this is absolutely way more. It can be way more than just a game. When you get into the building and the creation, and then there's the redstone aspect, and there's just so much you can get out of this game. That's why it's so much fun to play. But yeah, it's so when I in real life create a painting or a drawing or anything like that, I very distinctly will work with one color and work on an entire section in that one color, like I'm doing here, where I did all the path blocks, kind of got that general idea in, and now I'm going back in and just doing the grass blocks, one more color in at a time. And for me, I found that in real life that really helps to create unity in my artwork. It doesn't feel disjointed. It doesn't feel like any one color is not being represented enough or represented. Like, it makes sure that everywhere gets a touch of that color. Because I think one mistake that a lot of people make in art is not incorporating colors into all aspects and keeping the overall tone reflective of that. For example, if I only had grass on the outside of town and I didn't incorporate any green tones whatsoever throughout the build, you'd feel that. You'd feel that something was off. You'd feel like this is one distinct section and this is another. They wouldn't feel like one cohesive creation. At the same time, you have to have enough of a difference to create focal points as well. But it's finding that balance that I think is probably the most challenging part in design in general. But that's when you can nail that. I think that's when you really start to elevate, your designs, your creations, on paper and in game. Take them to the next level, at least in my opinion. But that's just the way that I do my own artwork myself. So it was easy to translate into this. It's just the way that I like to. That's my creative process, and that probably doesn't work, for everybody. But I would say that if you find yourself noticing that about your builds, that certain areas feel disconnected from other ones, think about what colors you've used in each side and see if there's a total discrepancy. If they're super stark in contrast and there's nothing carrying over, if I didn't have any sand in this area here and then all of a sudden it's sandstone, you'd notice that something's disjointed there. In Minecraft you see that very clearly when you've got biomes that are right next to each other. It's like, whoa, it's so obviously not cohesive. You can tell this is a whole different world over here. And that's going to be a fun challenge when we do actually start to build over on this side of the world, is how do we marry these two sides together? Because, I mean, seriously, this and this are two completely different experiences. So we're going to have to get creative with how we incorporate sandstone and the oak textures onto this side. And the problem is it's so bright green over here that even when I incorporate grass, it's just, I can't get close to matching this tone. And if I tried to, it would look unnatural. So that makes the greenery on this side all the more important. In fact, I think a lot of this is going to have to turn green just to make this feel a little more connected. One other thing that really has to get addressed is the bottom of the riverbed. I hate the way that they automatically generate. I appreciate that it's not just like all dirt, but the way that they have like almost like circular splotches of colors, I feel like that is like way less natural. I'd rather have just dirt at that point. It feels so splotchy, and yeah, it's not nearly as noticeable when there's more definition, more depth in the water. In fact, that's probably where it looks the best. But any shallow pools is where it becomes very clear that like it looks bad. So yeah, that's one area I can totally get hung up on and work on detailing for absolutely forever. But when you do it, I feel like it makes a really big difference, and just part of making it look natural, I would say. Alright, so let's see what we're thinking about the look of the path. Yeah, actually, I really think I like that. I think that this is a good blend of all of the tones, and it just feels like a natural progression right up into the town. I don't know how much of that barrier I want to cross. Enough. It's got to feel like we're leading into it. Yeah. Oh, look at our bunny friend's still here. Oh, poor guy. I wonder how long you're going to be here for. You've got like front row seats though to everything that's going on in town though, so I mean, you could be stuck in worse places, but like I'm really curious what I kind of don't want to try to push him out. I kind of want him to stay forever. Maybe we will name you. I think he likes that. Alright, I think I'm going to leave this here. I've done enough rambling. I've done enough building for one day. Let's get this video out to you, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.